Norfolk County Commissioners Wednesday, December 16th meeting to order. This meeting is being held under Governor Charles Baker's executive order on remote participation. On Thursday, March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Chapter 30A, Section 20. That order was effective immediately and until it is rescinded or the state of emergency is over, we'll have a Zoom meeting. Thank you. I'm going to take the roll call now. Commissioner Collins?
Present.
Commissioner Shea is present. For the record, Commissioner Chairman O'Brien will not be here today. And for the record, we have Commissioner-elect Stady on the Zoom with us. Do I have a motion on the minutes of December 9th meeting?
Motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next item is a lengthy copy of the transcript from the public hearing, which was held on November 19th, relative to solar at the Aggie School in North Walpole. The law requires that we review these minutes, Commissioner Collins and Commissioner-elect Stady, and at some point accept them, and I'm hopeful that we could get that done next week or the final week in the year, but they are extensive, and I'd like, where possible, if you could take a look and review it. I've gotten somewhere through it, but it's a pretty daunting task, but they look pretty good. There's a couple of corrections I think need to be made, but unless I hear an objection, I'd like to ask for motion to continue this until next week's meeting, but I have a feeling we're going to get this through before the end of the year, which is only 2 weeks away.
I'll make a motion that we continue to review the minutes and transcript of the Commissioners Walpole public hearing of November 19th, 2020. And hopefully we can wrap it up next week.
And I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next item. Any public comment? Anyone at all wants to have any comment to the commissioners today? I don't think we've received any advance notice of this, but this is our period for public comment. Number 6, facility maintenance report. I don't think that Superintendent McGowan is going to be here today, but I'll ask Mike for a couple of comments. I think he's out preparing for the storm, but I could be wrong.
Yes, he is, and thank you, Commissioner. Again, it's been a busy week, especially with the prep for the snow. Like we and John and I have been in touch with the trial court this morning, and we've been working and talking with the regional administrative judge here in Dedham, about our plans and in the forecast and the projections, in terms of tomorrow. And we should be in good shape to be able to handle it. All of our plow contractors are in line and in ready. So hopefully the weather event, I believe that we are prepared for it. That we're prepared for it. And we have been in touch with everyone. And we have been in touch with everybody in order to do that. I will let you know, and I believe I've been in touch with each of you, over the past few days. We did have an incident, at the beginning of the week, with a night employee, here in the Dedham complex, and based on, and based on the situation, in terms of how it relates, to the ongoing pandemic. At this moment, we we have told the night crew here in Dedham to not report to work, and and we have rearranged all of our other employee schedules to be able to make sure we are doing our due diligence and doing all that we can as part of the pandemic to keep our employees safe, and to keep the stakeholders in terms of the judges, in terms of the court officers, and the attorneys and the other staff in the buildings, which we have a footprint and maintain. So that has kept us busy. I do want to emphasize that the county, has COVID protocols in place, and the commission is in a vote in mid-June, actually approved those protocols. And as part of those protocols, we do expect all of our employees to be following them, especially when it comes to the wearing of masks, in social distancing, and taking all the precautions that we need to be right now. And I just want to remind everyone, and actually next week we are gonna have an updated set of protocols, which we will be actually recommending at that point to the commissioners, that really reaffirm our commitment and our expectation, and our very strong expectation actually, that those protocols be followed, and that they're adhered to, and that we have a safe and healthiest possible place to work, and do business with here in the county. And unfortunately, that that whole situation has taken a lot of our time this week. However, I do want to thank Sheila Carroll, and I do want to thank John McGowan. We've been on the phone back and forth, and I believe we have responded entirely appropriately, and cautiously, to be able to keep, as I mentioned, our employees safe, the public safe, and our stakeholders and partners in the trial court safe as well. So, so that is about it at this point, Mr. Chairman, but I just wanted to provide that update. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay, Commissioner Collins, any questions?
I have no questions. Nice job, Mike.
My only comment is, well, you do deal with the Dedham Board of Health, correct?
Yes, I'm sorry, and I was actually in touch with them yesterday morning as well. I ran the whole situation issue by them. Yes, and we're in constant touch with them, about everything we do, about any question, about any incident, and how we responded, it was is actually their their thoughts and recommendation as well. Yeah, and we're in touch with them probably on a 2 to 3, we're in touch with them about 2 to 3 times a week based on the situations we've been dealing with. So yes.
Okay.
Commissioner
Okay.
Shea,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, through you to the director, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Mike, if we have a, I'm sure that you're talking about urging them and strongly telling them to wear the mask, but do we have something written in place, number one? Number two, what steps do we take if an employee is found not to do that? And number three, do we have to then negotiate that with the unions? We have to call them in and tell them as an addendum because of the extraordinary circumstances we're in? I mean, what are other towns doing? What are municipalities doing in this regard? I'd like to know moving forward, because this seems to be a growing concern. I know you're trying to do the best you can, not a criticism, but again,
Nope.
what steps can we take to, kind of put a kibosh on it, Thank you.
Yes, and to answer that, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Yes, maintenance superintendent, he has put, we as a county, in terms of our expectations, we put those expectations, actually in writing, in our return to work policy in June. And recently as this month, I'm a maintenance superintendent, he reaffirmed that to all his employees in writing, in terms of those expectations. And, to the point that I think you're mentioning, Commissioner-elect, that does, at this point, I believe need to be, a lot, frankly speaking, a lot of teeth in how we enforce that. In this morning, I did reach out to our labor council, and I did want to walk through how exactly those enforcement, tools and measures and teeth with her. But I have like, and my question for her, is exactly the same question that you have.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like, I think we should, actually be really strong, like, in our teeth, but, before we take, any, any measures, I just want to run, I just want to run those by her to make sure, that they would interact appropriately, with the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. So you're on
Yep.
top of that, and we're on the same page. Thank you.
Yes, oh,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yep, thank you. Okay,
Okay, anything else on COVID? Okay, we have a 1:15 appointment as well as a 1:30 appointment. I think we're right on time for the 1:15 appointment. We might be a minute early, but is Brianna on the call? Brianna Ham from RPF Environmental Services? Okay, Brianna, you're on. Let me just introduce you. This is Brianna Ham from our consultant, RPF Environmental Testing and Consulting Services. As a result of a outreach from the county dated August 6, 2020, RPF Environmental completed a indoor air quality study on 8 Norfolk County buildings. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Brianna, for a little report. We have a lengthy report that lists all the buildings and all the background that was sent out with this week's agenda.
Yes.
Brianna.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. So I was just going to do an overview kind of each
Fine.
section. Overall, everything looked pretty good at each of the buildings. Going through each of the sections of the report and each of the parameters that we tested for. First one being carbon dioxide. Everything was looked good at each of the buildings. All were well below the OSHA permissible exposure limit, as well as generally accepted guideline of 1,000. So everything looked good there. Carbon monoxide, all the levels were below the OSHA PEL of 50. There were readings at Dedham, Rentham, Stoughton, and Brookline that had areas that were a little above what we normally see in buildings, but they were comparable to the outside, which also had elevated readings around the same numbers. So it's likely that those readings, actually the air quality got pulled from the outside, and that's where that came from. Looking at temperature, relative humidity, and dew point, the temperature and dew point looked great. Relative humidity in most of the buildings were either elevated above or slightly below the generally accepted comfort range of 35 to 55%, which is normal for New England, where it's usually really dry during the colder months and humid during the summer. So we performed the site visit at Quincy in November, so that's why the relative humidity was a little lower compared to the others. The other indoor air quality testing was done in September, which was more humid and a little warmer. For the most part, humidity will just change naturally with the coming seasons. However, humidifiers and dehumidifiers can be used to alleviate discomfort or symptoms like irritated sinuses, dry eyes, etc. But if not properly maintained, these devices can become sources of future fungal growth. That's why we make that potential fix, but just make sure that everything is properly maintained. Looking at total volatile organic compounds, which is basically like chemical odors, like from cleaners, hair fresheners, toner, permanent markers, stuff like that. There were various areas in each of the buildings that had slightly elevated readings, which isn't abnormal, especially right now during the recommendations for COVID. Buildings are being cleaned more often. Usually there's like a fogging during the night and then more frequent cleaning during the day. So these, the VOCs from the cleaning products can contribute to the VOC concentrations in the air. Looking at airborne particulate matter, the PM10, all of the readings were well below the national ambient air quality standard of 150, except for one reading, which was collected in the basement maintenance office of the Superior Court. But basements, of course, can have they're just more prone to higher dust levels sometimes. So depending on what's there. So it's not really super abnormal. There is an ASHRAE guidance right now that's recommending upgrading the filters during the COVID pandemic to increase efficiency and also make sure the rating is compatible with your HVAC system, which I know, Michael, we were talking about that. For observations, that section, while on site, we observed, and this is more for like housekeeping, just looking for any future problems potentially or anything like that. We saw some water stained ceiling tiles in various buildings. So we just recommend, and you'll see in our recommendations at the end, about looking for any possible active leaks. That way they can be fixed, so that way they don't become future problems. We also notated that there were various events in some of the buildings that had some debris present. And it was more just making sure that those get cleaned periodically in order to make sure all of that buildup is taken care of. And that's basically the highlights of the report. Overall, everything looks really good.
Any questions? Commissioner Collins, anyone?
No, I thought that was a nice report.
Brianna, I do have a question. I know you're in the testing and consulting business, the environmental. How often, or when do you think the last time this was ever done? This may not be a question for you. It might be for Mike or Sheila or John. How often do we test the air quality in our buildings, or was it done because of the virus? I know the school did it before they returned to school also in late August or September, but I'm just curious, have we ever done this before, to anyone's knowledge? Director?
Yeah, to answer that question, I believe, and I could be wrong, we have done this testing that I'm aware of at Quincy District Court on a proactive basis.
Okay, that's my question.
Like in the last few years. Like in prior to that, I believe whenever needed or whenever a question arose. But I do believe, like in terms of how we go forward, actually having this routinely done, like in terms of, then we'll be armed proactively with the information, I think would be helpful as well.
I agree. Plus, we're going to do the change. We're going to do the air handlers at Stoughton, which is unfortunate, but we've appropriated the money as of last week, and we're going to make some changes there. So I just thought we should adopt this as a regular measure. I don't know what regular means. I'm sure Brianna would say we could do it every week, but I'm just trying to get a pattern and get it on the record that we intend to, follow this through, so we keep right on top of it.
We've done air testing. Usually, I think we have a couple of school districts up in New Hampshire that we do either quarterly or biannual testing, really depending like spring or fall, because those are more likely to have sometimes have issues, I guess. It's that transition period. So, and then for the quarterlies, I've done quarterlies at a couple of court systems up in New Hampshire, just because either they had a water issue and they wanted to monitor it, or they just wanted to keep track. So it really depends on what you guys are looking for data.
Okay. Any other
Mr. Chairman?
comments on this report?
Joe, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
To
Richard.
follow up on that, again, maybe we predicate our response based on money and how serious the situation is. Whereas Stoughton's kind of an ongoing problem, right? Maybe we look at that and do more testing there, and then maybe do something according to what she's suggesting on a less frequent basis. There's probably industry standards, Mike, right? That would probably suggest how often you're supposed to do it. So might be something to discuss later, but just a thought. Thank you.
No, that's a good one, and I mean, I just like to see it continue, it based
Yeah.
on cost, of course.
I agree. I agree.
Okay. Thank you, Brianna.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. It's not 1:30 yet. We have a 1:30 matter on a public hearing on a petition in the town of Randolph. So I'm gonna, if no one objects, go to number 8 on the agenda, which is old business. I think we can complete a few of these other agenda items before 1:30. Do we have any old business, Director Mullen?
No, we do not, Commissioner.
Okay. We have no personnel matters for consideration today, according to the agenda.
No, we do not.
Okay. Number 10, payroll and expense warrant. I have a copy of the payroll and expense warrant dated December 16th. It's a motion to approve the county weekly payroll, the amount of $141,189.23. The Aggie week, biweekly payroll, 21-24, the amount of $326,555.79. County expense warrant, 12/03/21, in the amount of $15,063.75, and an Aggie expense warrant, 12-06, in the amount of $289,151.66. That is my motion for acceptance.
I'll second your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's number 10.
That
Number
was
11.
Number 11.
Number 11 is bid openings. We have none. Number 12, no contracts today.
Nope.
Okay, how are we doing on time? Are we at 1:30 yet?
No, we still have some more time.
Okay.
You're going too fast.
Number
To number
13.
14.
Okay, we're going to skip 13, but we will come back to it after we have our Randolph presentation. Number 14, statement of financial interest designated list for calendar year 2020. Director Mullen.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Every year we have to update this, the statement of financial interest designation list. And this list is for calendar year 2020. And we didn't actually make 3 updates this year. We took Frank Haggerty off. You know, in his retirement last year, he does not have to continue to fill out an SFI. So we did take him off, but we did add the incoming county treasurer, and we added the incoming county commissioner as well. And with that, everything else is the same and customary to what is approved every year. And then from here, we will send the ethics commission this list. And then based on the individuals, if they're a public employee, they will have to file by the end of April. And I believe elected officials have until mid to late, I believe they have until like mid to late May to file theirs. So with that, if there could be a motion to approve the list.
I'll make a motion to approve the list.
And I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Let's
Thank
do
you.
one more before 1:30. We're rolling here. Schedule of holidays for the calendar year 2020. This is adopted in late December of every year, so people can do planning. This is for our employees and the public to know when we're going to be open and closed. I refer to a memo from Director Mullen dated December 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 standard holidays. Any other questions or comments about this list?
Do you need a motion on
No,
this, Mike?
everything is pretty predictable. Like I will say July 4th, 2020, is on a Sunday. And as you will see this, this schedule, actually proposes giving it, our employees the 5th off, which is the Monday as the holiday.
Do you need a motion on this list, Mike?
Yes, please.
Okay, I make a motion that we adopt the schedule of holidays for calendar year 2021.
And I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Good work. Thank you.
You.
Okay. I'll draw everyone's attention back to our 1:30 meeting. We have a public hearing on a petition of the inhabitants of the town of Randolph to alter portions of High Street in Randolph dated November 17, 2020, as shown on a plan prepared by CHA Incorporated dated June 15th, 2020. And copies have been sent to the commissioners. Director Mullen, would you open us up and then turn it over to the folks from Randolph, who we'll welcome any minute now?
Yes, and I believe the town council for the town of Randolph is here with us. Christine Griffin, and I have I've actually I can see Doug McGarrett as well, but I just want to very quickly just actually go. Yes. Yeah, like, I believe if there can be if there could be a motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'll take a motion to open the public hearing. Commissioner Collins.
So moved.
Okay, again, this is a public hearing on the petition of the inhabitants of the town of Randolph to alter portions of High Street in Randolph dated, again, November 17, 2020, as shown on the plan prepared by CHA.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I need to read this whole petition?
You do, yes.
Do, okay.
Do you want me to read it, Joe?
Why don't you read this, Commissioner? I do have it here, though.
Okay. This is a public hearing on the petition of the inhabitants of the town of Randolph to alter portions of High Street in Randolph dated November 17, 2020, as shown on a plan prepared by CHA dated June 15, 2020.
Commissioner Collins, it should begin with to the Honorable County Commissioners of the County of Norfolk.
All right, I'm looking.
I don't see it either. I hope.
I don't see it. Mike, why don't you read it and then we'll
Yep.
move with that.
Yes, and what I'll do, if it's okay, I'm going to share my screen as well. Like for the purposes of, like moving this along, but Commonwealth in Massachusetts, Norfolk, SS, to the Honorable County Commissioners of the County of Norfolk, respectfully represent respectfully represent
Mike, I do have that. Want me to just read it?
Sure.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. So, starting at Norfolk SS, am I reading
Yes, all the way
the
down.
entirety? So I think it's 2 pages.
Yes.
All right, okay, here we go. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Norfolk SS, to the Honorable, the County Commissioners of the Norfolk County, respectfully represent your petitioners being the town of Randolph, acting through its town manager in said county, that common convenience and necessity require that portions of the Norfolk County Commissioners layout of High Street of May 3rd, 1938 be altered by discontinuing said layout in 2 areas described as follows. First alteration area. The area being shown as parcel A on a plan entitled Plan, showing the alteration of portions of High Street, Randolph, Mass, between Scanlon Drive and Billing Street, as laid out by the Norfolk County Commissioners on May 3rd, 1938. Scale 1 inch equals 40 feet. Dated June 15, 2020, prepared by CHA and sealed by William J. Dorgan, PLS, as more particularly described as follows, : beginning at a point being south 51 degrees, 23 feet, 51 inches east, SHLO bearing, a distance of 275 feet from the beginning of the 1957 State Highway Layout, Section 1, as shown on sheet 1 of 4, pound 4604, in north 85 degrees, 12 feet, 9 inches east, CHA bearing, a distance of 17.14 feet, thence running. South 08 degrees 05 feet, 20 inches west, a distance of 132.31 feet, thence running. South 08 degrees 05 feet, 20 inches west, a distance of 75 feet, thence running. South 08 degrees 05 feet, 20 inches west, a distance of 414.91 feet, thence turning and running. South 82 degrees 22 feet, 57 inches east, a distance of 20 feet, thence turning and running. North 8 degrees 5 feet, 20 inches east, a distance of 626.63 feet, thence turning and running. South 85 degrees 12 feet, 9 inches west, a distance of 20.52 feet to the point of beginning. Second alteration area. The area being shown as parcel B on a plan entitled Plan Showing the Alteration of Portions of High Street, Randolph, Mass. Between Scanlon Drive and Billings Street, as laid out by the Norfolk County Commissioners on May 3rd, 1938, scale 1 inch equals 40 feet. Dated June 15th, 2020, prepared by CHA and sealed by William J. Dorgan, PLS, as more particularly described as follows. Beginning at a point being south 51 degrees, 23 feet, 51 inches east, SHLO bearing, a distance of 275 feet from the beginning of the 1957 State Highway Layout, Section 1, as shown on sheet 1 of 4, pound 4604, and north 85 degrees, 12 feet, 9 inches east, CHA bearing, a distance of 37.66 feet, and south 8 degrees, 5 feet, 20 inches west, a distance of 155.05 feet, and south 81 degrees, 54 feet, 40 inches east, a distance of 33 feet, thence running. South 8 degrees, 5 feet, 20 inches west, a distance of 320.71 feet, thence running. On a curve to the left, having a radius of 20 feet, along the curve a distance of 26.53 feet, thence south 67 degrees, 55 feet, 35 inches east, a distance of 13.4 feet, thence running. On a curve to the right, having a radius of 20 feet, along the curve a distance of 26.53 feet, thence running. North 8 degrees, 5 feet, 20 inches east, a distance of 323.94 feet, thence running. On a curve to the right, having a radius of 20 feet, along the curve a distance of 31.43 feet, thence running. North 81 degrees, 51 feet, 50 inches west, a distance of 13 feet, thence running. On a curve to the left with a radius 20 feet along the curve, a distance of 31.43 feet to the point of beginning. Wherefore, your petitioners pray that said alterations be made as specified above, dated the 17th of November, 2020 by Brian P. Howard, Randolph Town Manager.
Thank you, Commissioner. For the record, I did have a copy. I had misplaced it, and I put myself, I read along with Commissioner Collins. Thank you. I'm going to ask anyone if they have had sufficient time to review this plan. If there's any questions, I'm now going to ask the petitioners or their representatives to address the commissioners and explain why common convenience and necessity requires the proposed alterations as requested. Anyone at all from the town or proponent would like to speak about this?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Christine, how are you?
Yes, it's nice to see you, sir.
Nice to see you.
My name's Christine Griffin. I'm the town attorney for the town of Randolph, Massachusetts. I believe that our town planner, Michelle Tyler, is also dialing in, so she may also be on the call. She's available to answer any technical questions about the plans that the commissioners might have. And Douglas McGarrah, who is the attorney who represents the abutter to this road, is also on the call, and he has really done the laboring oar work in putting all this together, so I'll defer to him on the specifics. But I just wanted to read a letter that was submitted by the town manager on April 10th, 2019, which generally summarizes the town's support for this change, if that's okay. So that letter says, "Dear Chairman, on behalf of the town of Randolph, I'm writing to express the town of Randolph's support for the proposed alteration of the county's roadway easement in High Street between Scanlon Drive and Billings Street, as shown on the attached plans, and then it refers to the plans. The roadway and pedestrian safety environment in this area has long been a concern of the town of Randolph due to the frequently heavy volumes of traffic on Scanlon Drive and the numbers of pedestrians crossing Scanlon Drive from the Lantana to the adjacent parking area. With the development of the parking area located off High Street across from the Lantana, the pedestrian crossings conflict with motor vehicles on Scanlon Drive will be eliminated by directing pedestrians to cross on the new parking area on designated crosswalks on High Street north of Scanlon Drive, as shown on the attached parking area development plan. A safer pedestrian environment will thus be created, including a sidewalk on the western side of High Street. The High Street roadway and travel lanes in this location will remain unchanged, but will become much safer with these improvements. Pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 82, Section 2, the town hereby urges the county commissioners to find that the alteration of the portion of the roadway easement in High Street, as shown on the plan, is required by common convenience and necessity and is approved as proposed in this petition. And we greatly appreciate your consideration of this. And with that, I'll turn it over to Attorney McGarren if he has anything to add.
Attorney McGarrett, please. He needs to be.
Doug, you muted, Doug.
Sorry about that. God, I've seen so many people do that, and I would swear I would never do that.
Yeah.
Forgive me. My name is Doug McGarrett, and I'm a partner at the law firm of Boston in Boston of Foley Hoag, and I'm here on behalf of Paul Hart and the Hart Family Limited Partnership and the Manet Inc. We are here requesting your approval of the petition to narrow and alter the roadway of High Street in this location. It's a location that has fundamentally changed in its purpose and function over the years with the development of area roadways, of which I think everyone probably knows, particularly with I-93 here. And as Christine described, what this will do is narrow High Street to make it a safer pedestrian environment and really a safer roadway environment for all, both travelers and pedestrians, and with improvements to the landscape with the parking lot landscape adjacent, the crosswalks, the sidewalk, and the additional improvements with the parking lot having reservation of spaces for people accessing the Blue Hills at the trailhead in this location. So we are here before you with both Paul Hart, who is the petitioner in this, not the town petitioner, but the advocate for this, and the owner of the adjacent properties, as well as Andrew Chagan, who is the civil engineer for Vertex, who will speak from a plan and go into more detail if that's what the commissioners would like. So with that, let me first thank the town, in particular, Christine and Brian Howard, and also your staff, Director Mullen and Joe McNichols, who we've worked extensively with to develop this petition that's before you. So we think we have it in good order. There's a lot of work that has gone into this since the time of the actual original legislation to allow for the transfer of the interest in the area across High Street that facilitates all of this, which some of you will recall, and you might shake your head to believe that it was passed in 2002. So it's a long time coming for this. It has been a plan that has been reviewed and developed with DCR, which actually at that time was known as the MDC, and has been reviewed and approved as the plan is before you. So with that, if I could, I'd like to turn this over for some brief comments from Paul Hart, and then we'll have someone speak to the petition and the details of the plan, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Paul?
Paul, you're on.
Hello. Am I off mute?
You are.
Everything okay? All right, great. Thank you for this opportunity, and it's very much appreciated. I thank the town and their support. They've been great. It's funny, I was trying to figure out how long it's been, Doug, and I was going to guess 20 years, but 18. It's crazy how long this has been going on, and working with DCR, the town, and everybody. So I'm really excited for this to happen, for the safety of my guests. This came up probably 20 years ago when I had a consultant in my building turning us, professionalizing the Lantana. And he's like, look at your business in a different way. Look at it from 30,000 feet down, and then look at it from the ground up. And then I looked at it from the ground up, and I see my pedestrians crossing the street. So this is how this all came about. So I have to thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Brian Howard, and Michelle in the planning department. Everybody's been great. So if you have any questions of me, we are surviving, even though we're shut down. We've become a food manufacturer, co-packer for 3 different companies. So we are surviving through this coronavirus, even though we can't do any functions. So anybody?
Okay.
Thank you, Paul. And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, we'll have Andrew Chagan from Vertex bring up on the plan so he can walk you through the improvements that we've developed both with DCR and working with Michelle in the town. So Andrew, you're on.
Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Andrew Chagnon from the Vertex Companies. Doug has done a fairly good job of outlining the whole kind of history of what has happened. So just a few things that I would like to either add or kind of build upon. Doug mentioned that we were narrowing the roadway, and I'd like to point out I want to be clear, we're not actually changing the width of pavement that is on the roadway. There's approximately 24 feet of pavement on the roadway now. Certainly for this side roadway and the use here, more than appropriate at the size of that, and we are maintaining the 24 feet of pavement. We are not particularly changing the curb line in any place except maybe to straighten it out in a few places. If you've been out there, you'll notice there's some informal parking that happens on the side of the road, and we'll certainly be straightening that out and adding curb. You'll note that we did not, the narrowing of the right-of-way happens not proportionally on either side. It's larger on one side than the other, and that was so that we would respect the pavement and where it is in its existing location. There are 2 crosswalks being added. Really for us, this whole thing came down to safety with people crossing the roadway, and as was mentioned about moving them from the previous area, and that this would be much safer. And through our work with the town, we came up with a configuration of 2 crosswalks, which you can see. Sidewalks provided on both sides of the street so that people, and particularly if you have a lot of people at once, would be able to move people safely across the street and safely along the side of the roadway on the sidewalk. Doug did mention this also was reviewed in detail with DCR. We've included 10 parking spaces that will be dedicated to trailhead parking so that people can access the public lands there. There's also some signage that was added that kind of indicates the property and what it's used for. There are some landscape improvements that will happen along the edge of the roadway, particularly along and I apologize for not being oriented right here, but I believe that it's along the left-hand corner or the south corner of the parking lot. There'll be some linden trees that are planted along there, as well as some other trees that are planted as you go in further to the west. So all of those improvements were coordinated with DCR as well as the town. We think that this will be a good situation. Certainly, as I mentioned before, roadway certainly wide enough to handle any traffic that we'll see there, but a nice safe situation for people to be able to traverse back and forth across the street. With that, I don't have anything else to add, but certainly would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Andrew.
Any questions of Andrew from anyone at all? Okay. Next, I'm going to ask if anyone from the commissioners has any questions, or if our county engineer wants to weigh in. I do know he's reviewed this plan. Commissioner Collins, do you have any comment on this?
No, I have no comment. I'm good.
Okay. How, our engineering department, I think they're on the call. Do they have any comment, or are we ready to go as far as they're
Yeah,
concerned?
we're good to go, Joe. No opposition.
Okay, this is, again, Joe McMullen, McNichols, our county engineer. Okay, I'm going to now open this up to any other interested parties who has any questions regarding this, this proposal in the town of Randolph. Anyone else at all? Okay, last call. Anyone else like to be heard on this matter at all in any way, shape, or form? Okay, I have a little trivia question. Except for Paul, and I think he knows the answer at the end. I'm the father of an engineer, but down in the left corner or across the street, years ago, there was another establishment in the town of Randolph that I frequented with Paul Connors of Randolph. Who remembers the name? I do, but I just want to see how sharp. Maybe Michelle knows. How about, does anyone remember?
It predates me in Randolph, I'm sorry.
Oh boy, I'm getting old.
No, not at all.
Paul, do you remember the name of it? I do.
Was it Boots and Saddles?
Boots and Saddles.
I know it was.
Sometimes a stop when you were returning, in my case, to Quincy from maybe Dedham or further out. And you could see it from the highway. And I do realize, of course, that it probably was there before Lantana, but then you could, many times went to Lantana for so many great functions and everything.
And that was Girardi's too, right? I think it changed.
Girardi's after that, I believe.
Yeah.
Or was it Girardi's before? But I really remember Boots and Saddles. I
Saddles.
kind of wish Paul Connors was on this call, but he isn't. Chairman of our advisory board. He knows much more about it than I do.
That's
Okay,
great.
well, I think we're making great progress here. And I when I hear these dates that this started in, did you say 98, Doug, or 2002?
Yeah, it started before 2002, but it was the original legislation to create the lot was created in an act of 2002.
Okay,
2002 was correct.
I think we've dotted all the i's and crossed the t's. I think the public hearing was conducted in a professional and straightforward manner. I'm going to defer to Director Mullen. Are we ready as far as you're concerned? We, the county?
Yeah, like I would recommend before we move forward that we do take everything under advisement and close the
For 1
public
week.
hearing.
I'll
Yes,
make that
we do
motion.
have everything.
Can I go way out on a limb and say this will be resolved in the year 2020?
I think that is safe to, I would venture to say that is safe to say at this point.
I make a
Okay.
motion that the public hearing be closed and the county commissioners take this matter under advisement.
I'll second that. All in favor of closing this public hearing and taking this matter under advisement? Aye,
Aye.
2-0. Okay, folks, thank you very much. We'll be back to you in 2020.
Thank you very kindly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Okay,
Really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
everybody.
I'm on
Thank you.
page
Thank
2
you,
of
Vic.
our agenda. Thank you. I'm going to draw your attention to item number 13, a review of a December 8th, 2020 open meeting law complaint against the County of Norfolk Commissioners filed by Tracy Firth on behalf of the Walpole Preservation Alliance. Director Mullen.
Yes, I have provided for the, I have provided for the review of the commissioners. Like an open meeting law complaint. that, as you mentioned, was filed with our office, like on December 8th, 2020, and that was filed by Tracy Firth on behalf of the Walpole Preservation Alliance, and I did include the complaint, in a copy of a proposed response, for your review, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm going to draw Commissioner Collins to the third page here. It's a copy of a letter dated today to Tracy Firth relative to this application or this open meeting law complaint dated December 8th. Is it necessary? I could read this into the record.
I'm not
No,
sure. I don't think it's necessary to read into the record. I'm going to make a motion, Joe.
Take it under advisement.
Let's see. I'm going to make a motion. Well, I'm going to state that I've reviewed the 12/8/20 open meeting law complaint filed by Tracy Firth on behalf of the Walpole Preservation Alliance, and I have reviewed the proposed response to the complaint by the county. And I would make a motion to approve the proposed response by the county to the open meeting law complaint to Tracy Firth and the Walpole Preservation Alliance dated 12/8/20, and to instruct the county director to sign and send a response on behalf of the county commissioners.
Okay.
And that's my motion, Joe.
Okay, I'm going to second it. Any discussion on this motion? All in favor of sending a letter of response dated December 16th from Michael Mullen on behalf of the county commission on this matter? All in favor?
Aye.
That concludes this matter for today. Thank you. We're going to move to number 16. Report of the county director.
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Chair. At long last, I believe next week, at the December 23rd meeting of the county commissioners, we will have for your review and the county's review the fiscal year 19 independent audit and management letter. Due to COVID, and some other issues, we're a little behind. And we've been working with our auditor and with our actuary to finalize everything. FY19 was an actuarial study year, and that required additional work. But at this point, I do expect, and I hope and I plan, that the audit and the FY19 management letter will be ready for next week, and will be ready to be presented to the county. That will really catch us up in terms of our audits. As you know, this has been something, and frankly, a priority of mine that I've been working on since last October. To get everything caught up. We do have a new independent auditor, who is ready to start with FY20 as soon as the FY19 audit is all approved. And we do have, in terms of all the actuarial information, we are in really good shape and have made really good progress on the FY20 update, as part of the actuarial study as well. So, so as I mentioned, I do expect that will be on the agenda for next week, as well as the updated COVID protocols and policies, like a reaffirmation of those that we want to have in place. As I mentioned, we had the original one approved in June. However, given how this whole thing really continues to evolve, we want to make sure we're operating as a county at the top of our game, and we want to make sure, frankly, our employees are as well. So, that will be the genesis of the updated policies and protocols that will come before you next week. As well, earlier when you heard from Brianna, she mentioned the other air quality issues. Not issues, but the air circulation, like in the HVAC upgrades, like in other items we've been working on. I did mention a few weeks ago that Tig and Bond, like in working with the trial court, they have, I think at this point, they've been in Stoughton District Court, they've been in Superior Court, in the Registry Building in Brookline District Court, I believe perhaps Quincy's District Court as well. At this point, we do have recommendations from Tig and Bond, like in terms of recommendations, that they are proposing, like in recommending, at the Superior Court, and on the second floor of the registry. So we have those recommendations in hand, like in following through on them is a priority for the county. And we know that it's a priority for the trial court as well. So by the end of this week, I'm bringing actually like a working group together, that consists of our maintenance crew, our county electrician, like our mechanical engineers who we work with, to come up with a game plan to address those issues. Whether some of the issues, and recommendations are possible, and to assess in terms of how we deal with the ones, that aren't going to be possible. So it's been busy. I was talking with the commissioner-elect earlier, and I did mention that we are working right up and almost through Christmas, and that hopefully we will be able to take a little time off. But it is a busy time of the year, especially with everything else we have happening. And I do want to thank all of our departments, and all of our staff, especially the ones who are really following all of our protocols, and working with us, as we continue to adjust. So that is all I have this week, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have full meetings this week and the last week of the year. It's our plan to have 2 full meetings, correct?
Yes, I expect one on the 23rd, and then another one on the 30th as well.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions of Director Mullen? Any comments at all before we adjourn this meeting? I want to say thank you. Unfortunately, it appears this dreaded COVID is getting closer and closer. I don't want to say to home, but we seem to be getting more calls and more instances where it's near to some of our departments, near to some of our buildings, and we didn't experience that earlier in the year during COVID, although that was serious too. But it seems quite honestly to be getting much more serious, and I can't stress enough to try to keep safe and, everyone try to take care of everyone. But at the same time, we've got certain business we have to conduct. So it just adds another layer of consternation for everyone of this famous 2020 that we are soon to get out of. But it has been one heck of a year, but we've got a few more weeks to go, and then maybe we can step off on January 6th to the new foot and hopefully turn the corner. But everyone's doing a great job, and I really want to say hello and thank everyone. But we'll have more to say in the next couple of weeks. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Shea, can I ask something before you?
Well, it's not proper, Nathan, but in the spirit of holiday, I'll ask you, you can ask us a question. Go ahead.
With the open meeting, with the things that all the citizens and people from the community mentioned on the 19th, when are we going to get a response from all of that? I know quite a few people are wondering the same question.
Okay, did you listen earlier today when we took under advisement the minutes of the 19th public hearing?
I actually joined. I was having technical issues. I was not able to join right at the beginning.
Okay, it's a 64-page document. We have had professionals transcribing it, but I asked the commissioners and other people in the county, before we make it a public record, to double check it for accuracy and spellings, et cetera. And we have taken it under advisement. So you will be hearing from us soon, but it's on the docket and it came in at today's meeting, and I'm waving a copy of it here. We're going to get to it as quickly as we can. Again, it's 64 pages long. And sometimes with the Zoom, and this is all new to us, it's another added layer, and it's quite difficult on some of the names and things like that. But we want to put out a product that's as accurate as we possibly can. And that is my answer. Thank you, Nathan.
Okay, thank you so much. I apologize again.
No, it's all right. Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
Goodbye, everyone.